Hello everyone, distinguished delegates, invited speakers, research scholars, and dear students. A very good morning to one and all, and welcome to 3 Days International E-Colloquium on Environmental Degradation and Climate Change, organized by Center for Environmental Science, University of Madras, in collaboration with Department of Geology and Environmental Science, Christ College Autonomous Irinalakuda, Kerala, and Department of Geology, University of Madras, Chennai, Tamil Nadu. Christ College feels immense pleasure and proud to host this international colloquium, providing opportunity to around 2,000 participants across the globe to take part in this virtual event. It is aimed at creating a platform for interaction, knowledge sharing, and deeper engagement in the wider areas of environmental degradation and climate change, mitigating its effects, and consider different ways to move forward for a sustainable living in our planet. Since climate change is one of the biggest challenges of our times and is already happening, this international colloquium involved cooperative discussion, opportunities to share perspectives and issues related to this very important topic. I hope this colloquium would explore new research topics and bring exciting questions. Before we begin, let's seek the blessings of Almighty. I request everybody to have a silent prayer right now. Thank you, everybody. I now invite Dr. S.M. Hussain, Professor, Head and Convener of E-Colloquium, Department of Geology, University of Madras, Chennai, for the welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good morning to all. Honorable Vice Chancellor of our University of Madras, Professor S. Gauri. And I'm sorry, he has received an urgent call from Secretariat and he is unable to attend. And if time permits, as early as he completes the meeting and he may join. And respected Professor A. Ramachandran, Emeritus Professor from Anna University, revered Father Dr. Jolly Andrews, CMI Principal, Christ College, Irinjalkuda, and my colleague and convener of this CE conference, Professor M. Suresh Gandhi, Dr. Linto Alapat, Head of the Department of Geology, Christ College, Professor Devesh Sinha, Professor Krishnamurthy, the syndicate member and Head of the Department of Applied Geology, Professor Jonathan from Mexico, Dr. Rajiv Nigamji from NIO Goa, Dr. Srinivasan, retired director from GSI, resource persons, research scholars, student participants and friends. A very good morning to all of you once again. And it gives me immense pleasure in extending a welcome address, in delivering a welcome address in this 3-day international conference, which is being organized by Center for Environmental Science, University of Madras, in collaboration with Department of Geology, Christ College, Irinjalkuda, and Department of Geology, University of Madras. And we have been witnessing these days many forest fires, landslides, at some places drought, and at some places heavy rainfall, and also erratic monsoon, ocean acidification, coral bleaching, pollution, glacier melting, and global warming, sea level rise, and many more other environmental issues. Keeping these issues in view, and we need a platform for a healthy discussion on this, and hence we conceived an idea in collaboration with the Department of Geology, Christ College, and our own department, and mainly the Center for Environmental Science, University of Madras, and to organize a e-conference, 3 days international e-conference during this COVID time. And we have put forward this proposal to our Vice Chancellor, and he readily accepted and encouraged and supported us. Our Vice Chancellor is, it's unfortunate that we missed him. He is unable to attend because of the urgent meeting, but he is very kind enough and support and encourage our all events. And I am now delighted to welcome our respected Professor A. Ramachandran, Emeritus Professor from Center for Climate Change and Disaster Management, Anna University, and who is going to give felicitations in this conference, and revered Father Dr. Jolly Andrews, CMI Principal, Christ College Autonomous Rinjalkuda, who is going to give felicitation also. And I welcome Professor Suresh Gandhi, Head in Charge, Convener of this conference, and who is going to talk about the conference. And it is my pleasure, great pleasure, in welcoming Professor Devesh Sinha from Delhi University, Delhi, who is going to give the inaugural address. And he has really accepted our request in a short span of time to deliver the inaugural address instead of our Honorable Vice Chancellor. In a short span of time, he has accepted our request. Thank you very much, sir. And I welcome our syndicate member, Professor R. Krishnamurthy, for his presence and gracing this occasion. And I also welcome Dr. Linto Alapat, Head Department of Geology, Christ College, who is going to propose vote of thanks in this conference. And it is my pleasure, and I'm delighted that our scholar and Assistant Professor of Department of Geology, Mr. R. Tarun, organizing secretary, who has been toiling hard in organizing this particular e-conference. I also welcome Dr. Rajiv Nigamji from NIO Goa, who is a resource person also, and other faculty members, research scholars, and my own other faculty, Dr. Saravanan, and who is and other participants who are attending this particular conference. And I welcome each one of you by name. And it also gives me immense pleasure in welcoming our respected resource persons. And today we are going to have a wonderful talk by Dr. Rajiv Nigam, Emeritus Scientist, retired CSIR, NIO Goa, and followed by Professor Devesh Sinha, Delhi University, Delhi. They are going to share their vast experience, and they are going to enlighten on climate change. And we also have the other speakers, resource persons, Professor L. Ilango from Anna University, and Professor Shahidul Islam, University of Dhaka, Professor N. Parthasarathi from Pondicherry University, Professor M.P. Jonathan, our alumni, and he is working as a professor in IP and Mexico. He travels a lot and delivers many talks, invited talks. Dr. Fernando Elroga, Mexico, and Dr. Abdul Rahman, Sri Sai Ram Engineering College, Chennai, Professor SGV Subramanian, Center for Environmental Science Studies, Anna University, Professor M. Govindaraju, Bharatdasan University, Dr. Daniel Challappa, IGCAR Kalpakam, Dr. Hasrijal Shari, and Dr. Fatin from Malaysia. So we have diversified resource persons from different parts of the globe, and they are going to share their experience. They are going to give you a lot of knowledge on this particular climate change aspects. So I welcome you all for this 3-day international conference, e-conference, which is being organized by the Christ College and Department of Geology in tandem with the Center for Environmental Science, University of Madras, under the headship of Dr. M. Suresh Gandhi, who has recently taken up this headship for this Center for Environmental Science, and he is actively taking part and actively working to develop the center. So with this brief welcome address, I welcome you all for this e-conference inauguration. Thank you for the opportunity given, and thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir. Now let me invite Dr. M. Suresh Gandhi, Professor and Head and Convener of Colloquium, Center for Environmental Science, University of Madras, to introduce the colloquium. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. And so today programs, due to some emergency and urgent work in Secretariat, our Honorable Vice Chancellor was unable to attend this function. So anyhow, we will continue. So most respected Honorable Vice Chancellor, University of Madras, respected Reverend Dr. Jolly Andrews, Principal, Christ College, Irinyalakuda, Trichur, respected Emeritus Professor Dr. Ramachandran, Center for Climate Change and Adaptation, research at Anna University, respected dignitaries, and respected former Deputy Director and eminent scientist, Professor Dr. Rajiv Nigam from NIO Goa, respected Professor Devesh Singha from Delhi University, and all other eminent speakers. Already in welcome address, Professor Hussain sir told all the names, and I am also once again welcome all the eminent speakers. Professor Abdul Rahman from Sairam Engineering College, environmentalist, Professor Partha Sarathi from Pondicherry University, and my colleague Dr. MP Jonathan from IPN Mexico, and Professor L. Elango from Professor Head Anna University. Then my prolonged collaborator, Dr. Sagidul Islam from University of Dhaka, Bangladesh, Dr. Govindan, Head of the Environmental Biotechnology from Bharadasan University, Professor Fernando, one more speaker from IPN Mexico, and eminent nuclear scientist, Dr. Daniel Chellappa, and my good friend, Dr. Fatin Izzati Minahat, and Azrilal Shari, both of them from Faculty of Science and Marine Environment of Terengganu University, Malaysia, and Professor SVG Subramaniam from Center for Environmental Studies, Anna University, and for the valedictory function from DST, Dr. SK Varshini, he accepted our invitation, advisor head for international cooperation, and my head of the department and Christ College head of the department, Professor Linto Alapat. So very good morning to all of you. And also my colleague, Dr. Saravanan, and my student is the organizing secretary of this colloquium, Mr. Tarun, and all the organizing committee members from the Christ College, Kerala, and also from our own department, University of Madras, and the syndicate member and the professional head from Applied Geology, Professor Krishnamurthy sir, and research scholars from various universities, faculties, head of the department from various departments, students, friends. I once again, good morning to one and all. Today we are all gathering here for the 3 days international colloquium by webinar. So this colloquium is aimed to create a platform for interactions, knowledge sharing, mitigation its effect, and consider the different ways to move forward for the sustainable development in the reactions. So we all know that India is already experiencing a warming climate. Under 4 degrees centigrade of warming, the west coast and south coast of India are projected to shift to the new and also high temperature climate regimes with significant impacts on agricultures. And all of you know that Mumbai has the world's largest population. They are exposed to the coastal floodings with a large part of the city built on the reclaimed land, so below the high tide marks. And also the rapid and unplanned urbanization further increase the risk of the seawater intrusions. So meanwhile, by analysis done by the NASA using the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, that is IPCC report, to assess the change in sea level globally. So it claims 12 coastal cities in India, including Chennai, are likely to go underwater by the end of this century. So the climate change is the major issue of the concern for the modern world. So it leads to the attraction of the world environment as a result of direct or indirect human participation and the annual causes observed over the significant period of time. So hence, now it is the right time. It is also a responsibility of the academia to disseminate the knowledge of in this domain and discuss the issues in the development in this direction. So in this context, Center for Environmental Science, University of Madras, jointly organized with the Department of Geology, Christ College, Irinjalakuda, Trichur, and also from our own Department of Geology, University of Madras, a 3 days international e-colloquium. So for this colloquium, around nearly 2,000 participants were registered from all over the world. So the participants include from Malaysia, Thailand, Bangladesh, Nigeria, Mexico, Pakistan, Iran, Indonesia, Nepal, UK, China, Ethiopia, Oman, so like this. So with this few information, I call upon all the academicians, professors, scientists, and researchers to look this serious matter about the environmental degradation and climate change and how to mitigate and reduce the issue in futures with your fruitful interactions and scientific findings. So I hope this 3-day colloquium will come up with new solutions. So with this, I conclude my sessions. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Let me now invite Reverend Father Dr. Jolie Andrews, Principal, Christ College Autonomous, for the presidential address. Over to you, Father.
Okay. Good morning. I think you can all see and hear me.
Yes, Father.
Thank you. Dr. S. Gauri, the Honorable Vice Chancellor of University of Madras, whom we think were joining the session, perhaps in the fag end. Dr. S.M. Hussain, the professor and head of the convener and the convener of this e-colloquium, the Department of Geology, University of Madras. Dr. M. Suresh Gandhi, the professor and head and the convener of the Center for Environmental Science, University of Madras, who just spoke about this colloquium and its different dynamics. Dr. A. Ramachandran, the Emeritus Professor from Center for Climate Change and Disaster Management, Anna University, Chennai. Dr. Lintu Alapat, the HOD from the Department of Geology and Environmental Science. Dr. Mr. Tarun R., the Assistant Professor, who is the Organizing Secretary of this program. Honorable syndicate members, the faculty members from the different parts of the world who have come together for this international e-colloquium about environmental degradation and climate change. On the very outset, I would like to especially appreciate and congratulate the collaborative effort that has been made by the Departments of Environmental Science, Center for the Environmental Science of the University of Madras, the Department of Geology and Environmental Science from the Christ College, Autonomous Iringalakota, and the Department of Geology, University of Madras. It is true that we have to think with one mind when we have to deal with the problems which our Mother Earth is facing. And we are now especially pondering upon a very important aspect which is very crucial for our own survival. We are dealing about the degradation that is happening to the environment, and as a result of it, the climate change which we are suffering, global warming and all the other facts correlated to it. I am very happy to note that more than around 2,000 people have registered for this program, for this e-colloquium. This would definitely bring about new ideas, inspiring thoughts, and perhaps a vision, and perhaps a mission whereby we can work together to protect our environment in a better way. So my best wishes for all the organizers for this wonderful program, for this coming together. We Christ College Autonomous, I would like to place a few words about our college. Our college was started in the year 1956 by the Devamada Provincial Carmelites of Mary Immaculate, CMI Fathers. It's the first indigenous religious congregation founded in 1831 by St. Kuriakos Elias Chavra, who was a saintly priest and a versatile genius who envisaged and saw education as a tool for liberation and development. So the Christ College is a part of the century-old tradition of CMI education, which offers an ideal vision of education that is aware of and responsive to the challenge of the nation's present situation. A word about our college. The college is started by the visionary leadership by the first principal Padma Bhushan, Father Gabriel, perhaps the only Roman Catholic priest who had got the Padma Bhushan. The college has at present 27 UG programs, 16 PG programs, and 11 departments guiding research, leading to the research. And I'm very happy to note about the Department of Geology and Environmental Science, who already signed the MOUs with the University of Zululand, South Africa, the Lebanon Institute for Applied Geophysics, Germany, and also having a lot many collaboration and MOUs within the state of the Kerala. Now, Dr. Linto Alapat, who will be proposing the vote of thanks that Chori has just mentioned, that we are in a way looking forward to the University of Calicut in signing a MOU, Christ College and MOU under the able leadership of the geology and environmental science, whereby we can go forward, think together in a way, the colloquiums like these, whereby we can give a vision perhaps to the nation and perhaps to the whole world itself. We can give a vision. So we are eagerly thinking forward for that, looking forward towards that date where we'll be formally signing the MOU with the prestigious University of Madras, which is perhaps one of the best university in India itself. So I'm very happy to be here, present here, and finally a word about our own campus. Our campus is a biodiversity campus. As already we have reported more than 20-25 species of different forms. So the spiders and other varieties have been detected in these local areas, even from our campus itself. Now, our college is also a good, healthy location. A lot many feature films have been filmed here. So the honorable dignities, when the COVID pandemic, we are able to overcome it. We will overcome it. I also place my sincere welcome to all of you to our campus, Christ College, Iringalakura. So let us come forward. Let us think together, especially in this age when we have to be in the online platform. But even in this online platform, let us create a new ideas and new vision for our nation. Have a wonderful time. I once again sincerely appreciate this coming together, and my sincere best wishes to all of you. Thank you very much. Thank you, and have a wonderful colloquium, which would be a path-breaking effort and event as far as the environmental protection has been concerned. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Father, for your encouraging words. Now, with all due respect, I invite Professor Devesh K. Sinha, Director, Delhi School of Climate Change and Sustainability, Institution of Eminence, also Professor of Oceanography and Marine Geology, Department of Geology, Center of Advanced Study at Delhi University, for the inaugural address. Over to you, sir.
Sir, you are on mute mode. So good morning, all. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are
Yes,
very much audible. Please proceed.
So Professor Hussain, Professor Gandhi, Dr. Nigam, and Father Jolly, and distinguished colleagues, it's a relevant colloquium, and I'm happy that the Christ College, and especially the young boy, Dr. Tharun, is very active. I think few months back also he organized a wonderful event in which I participated. So I really appreciate the efforts of this young faculty under the mentorship of his principal, Professor Hussain and Professor Gandhi, that such academic events are being organized under this pandemic situation. As I have to give a talk also after Dr. Nigam's talk, so I'll be very brief, but let me provoke you. I don't want to call you all by names because many a times You have taken the names of all the people who are present there. So I'll not spend any time in that. First of all, let us understand whether the climate change is a myth or a reality. If you ask a layman or a student to prove that whether there is a climate change, many people do not have sufficient data to actually tell there is a climate change or not. And that is why several reports come which are contradictory. If you have IPCC report about climate change, then you have a non-governmental panel for climate change also. That is also a very thick report. It gives you contradictory statements. So under such circumstances, what should we do? The best way to mitigate a problem is to understand the problem itself. If somebody says there is a problem, let us not believe that there is a problem and start mitigating it, because our mitigating techniques will not be commensurate with the problem. Climate change is not a global problem. Remember, climate change is a problem where at some places on the earth it is amplified, at some places of the earth it is not at all felt, and some places of the earth it is moderately felt. But this is a thing about which everybody is equally worried. The beauty or the problem of the climate change is that many people do not understand that what is the real problem besides climate change. As a layman, understand the climate change is directly proportional to the carbon dioxide increasing in the atmosphere. And as the carbon dioxide is increasing, there will be a global warming, there will be sea level rise. This is a very linear sort of simplistic concept, because we do not understand the non-linearity or complexity of the climate system. So in my talk, I will explain you more about it. One more provocating thing I want to tell you. Often we say that we are worried about our Mother Earth. This is a completely myth, and it should be discarded. The sentence should be discarded from academics. See, Mother Earth has lived without Antarctic ice sheet, Greenland ice sheet. Mother Earth has witnessed more carbon dioxide than what we have today. Mother Earth has witnessed more sea level. When Chennai was under sea, Tiruchirappalli was under sea, Ariyalur was under sea, Madhya Pradesh was under sea. So don't worry about Mother Earth. Mother Earth knows how to live without ice sheet, with ice sheet, with CO2, without CO2. We should worry about ourselves. So many a times we are worried that let us not torture Mother Earth. We cannot. It is the human-centric, anthropogenic activity and the anthropocentric behavior that we are worried about. We want to save ourselves. So we should never try to save the Earth. Earth is there from Precambrian to Holocene. It has witnessed so many vagaries of nature. It creates the vagaries itself. The last thing, wait, understand, and then speak. Now, if you look at IPCC climate change report, only released few weeks back, it says the same thing, that the global warming may cause a lot of moisture transport through Hadley Cell to the Antarctica and deposit. The snow and snowfall rate is going to enhance in Antarctica, and that can compensate for the sea level rise, which is occurring due to iceberg calving. However, this is not true for Greenland. So every time science comes with new facts, let us understand the abrupt changes, gradual changes, and what is that in climate which should not change. Climate has intrinsic property to change. We cannot have a stable climate. On geological time scale, if you ask a geologist, the entire Holocene 10,000 years is a period of stable climate. So within this stability, what is that instability about which we are worried? Because our human lifespan is 80 years and we want to do so many things. Then to save us, we give a wrong narrative, save Mother Earth. On one hand, we talk about carbon sequestration, we arrange conferences. On the other hand, we extract sequestered carbon, which is the coal and petroleum. So why this dichotomy is there? This is a paradox. My whole predicament is, let us talk something relevant. Let us talk about science. Let us understand the climate change, and then and only then we can mitigate the climate change. So more in my talk, I congratulate once again the team led by Professor Hussain, Professor Gandhi, Principal Christ College, Dr. Tarun, for organizing this wonderful colloquium. And I see a lot of people present from abroad also. With these words, I declare the colloquium inaugurated. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now let me invite Dr. MP Jonathan from IPN Mexico for the felicitation. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. And I'm really happy to give a small felicitation for this particular event, the colloquium, which has been organized by my colleague, Dr. Gandhi and Tarun. As Dr. Shinha has told, Tarun is very young and he's energetic to do many things, and he has been in touch with me. And it's really great to see the home department where I grew for nearly 15 years in my home department. And I see my teachers all over there. And it's really proud to give the felicitation in this event. And we do hope all the participants, there are many people from different countries and different environments and different places. What we should do is try to develop a collaborative work, which is the need of the hour. In the environment, each one, single person can't develop or can't make the planet clean. It is the teamwork which always helps. I always tell my team or my research team, it always, when a group or when a team works properly, everything will be done wonderfully, and it will also lead to a great success. So normally we, as a research team here in Mexico, as well as I have my team all over in different places, I collaborate, especially in India as well as in other countries. So always I try to initiate and motivate the younger students and the younger generation to do more research and to do quality work, so that it gives immense pleasure and immense support to the real science which we are doing. So I congratulate all the organizers, especially who are doing this particular event. And especially I want to tell a little bit more on environment. Even though I'm a marine geologist, I'm working more on the environment. I just want to concentrate a little bit more is each one of us has to take the responsibility. That is what it is, the need of the hour. As Professor Shinha was telling, climate change, many people, they don't have their data, or they don't understand it completely. So in the case of environment, it's also the same. We think of our family, our situation or the present condition. We are not thinking about others, or we are not thinking about our future. So I just, in this inaugural function, I just want to give a message, or I just want to put a word to the younger generation. Let us not think only of ourselves. It should be, as a team, it should be thought outside also, so that the environment is saved, so that our planet is saved, so that our future generation has something to live in. Because climate change, everyone knows the recent report of the sea level rise, etc., etc. So whenever something happens, it happens very fast, and in the time which we are expecting, in 2050, it is happening in 2020. So it is happening very fast. So we should be careful, not alone looking out our own family or self-motivated. We should look beyond that, and so that we protect our environment, and we should help to develop or protect this environment, so that our future generation will be happy to live in. We have to think of that. It is not that we have to just uh, see our age or our group or our family or within ourselves or my institute or my university or my center. We have to open our minds. We have to create new opportunities, so that the environmental side or the environment is clean, and we can give something for the future. May this colloquium have very good interaction, and may this speakers as well as all the participants have good collaboration within each and every one, so that the research goes on with quality, and the science improves. Thank you very much, Professor Gandhi and Professor Hussain and Tarun also. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, I would like to call upon Dr. A. Ramachandran, Emeritus Professor, Center for Climate Change and Disaster Management, Anna University, Chennai, for the felicitation. Over to you, sir.
Morning, Professor. Am I visible and audible?
You are audible, sir, but
Yes,
not.
sir. Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Yeah, yes, you are visible.
Visible, all right.
Yes, sir, it's perfectly
Right.
all right.
Good morning. Good morning to all, sir. So nice to be with you today. I think my earlier speakers, they have done very excellent presentation. Really, it's a time to discuss about this, really the environmental issues, especially on climate change. As Dr. Jonathan, Mexico explained, the recent report, assessment report 6, IPCC, gave a red word. That means we are nearing the danger line. Compared to 1800 scenario, emission scenario, we had a quantum jump in our emission, especially of carbon dioxide, more carbon dioxide from petroleum product and coal products, and our industrialization, modernizations of all the world, throughout the world. They are unable to come out with a proper solution, because everybody is having more emission, and they cannot compromise their socioeconomic development. I need industry, I need development, I need employment opportunities, I need a better life, for which every country has to grow with economically viable industries and other works to the people or rural people. Now the IPCC or UNFCCC, now they realize that emission reduction should go along with the society. So now the recent report says more of some sort of not only rapid reduction in the emission of carbon dioxide, and also we must see that there is a good resilience to cope up the changing climate. Coming to India, already the world has alarmed that 1.5 degree will be the maximum to reach. Beyond that, everybody will face the dangerous consequences. One side, uneven rainfall or flash flood, what happened in China recently like that. Otherwise, cyclones in the tropical area, typhoon or other disasters like drought. So anything may come. Now, with the available data, the scientists are looking the data for about 100 years old data, and they are seeing the behavior of the climate or the weather pattern and the changing climate. In changing climate, we are unable to assess the disasters exactly what date it will come, what time. Once it come inside like a cyclone, we can give you a pre-warning system that the cyclone is going to hit you like that. You please have preparedness. have a response and recovery system, and all that we can have. But these certain areas, that is climate extremes, are totally, it is not, we are unable to capture in the system. We are running a lot of huge data, and every country has now the high capability to assess the regional climate scenario. We also did it for Tamil Nadu regional climate scenario. It is very alarming. It's now duty of the government of India, government of Tamil Nadu, and other states. Every state should join together to address the dangerous issue. As far as Tamil Nadu is concerned, the major vulnerability only on water resources. Early in 70s, our scientists told that you are going to sell the water in bottles. Please take care of your water resources. Nobody bothered. Now what happened? Now we are without water bottle. Nobody, I think, sitting in different rooms or halls. So situation has changed so much to adopt it without realizing the dangerous problem. Now future may come with so much of diseases, flood, drought, extremities. Extremities means like cyclone, a typhoon, or other heavy aerosol created problems. Delhi is the particulate matter is the problem. Sometimes you cannot drive the vehicle. That much of invisible stage on the core of the city. So if you realize all the danger, the emission scenario is a global phenomenon. Unless otherwise all countries join together for a rapid reduction. Now it's not possible. That's why some countries only just like America, they have not signed the last Paris Agreement, but they have the confidence that they will have a rapid reduction through technology. So they have the confidence. China is having the confidence. As far as India is concerned, we have given a strong NDC, nationally determined contribution to the Paris Agreement, promising that we will completely reduce the emission to 33 to 35% of the 2005 level by 2030. So we have another 9 years buffer. Within this 9 years, as we promised, if we do rapid reduction emission, I think it will maintain a minimum level of safeguard for the ecosystem. We need a minimum level. We don't want to give now. We can't. It's not possible to provide a beautiful comfort line to the ecosystem. All ecosystems are hardly. They struggle hard to thrive, especially forestry. And the Tamil Nadu is concerned, 17 basins out of 17 river basins, 14 basins are coming out from the Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats. Now these all the rivers, starting from Kosathalayar north up to Vaigai basin, we are going to get a heavy, drastic problem of water scarcity by 2040 or 2060. Some of the area, even this Tanjavur delta place, may move towards desertification because the Kaveri water is stopped means you can't do anything. Already the irrigation areas are reduced in stage. The fag end of the canal end, they are not getting sufficient water in Kaveri Delta. Same thing with this Vaigai Delta. So water resources, Tamil Nadu, not only Tamil Nadu, India, water is the main point. Water is the second point. Water is the third point. Next to only on agriculture or forestry and the coastal, as an earlier professor mentioned about the coastal sea level rise. Sea level rise, it is not just like Corona, you can put a mask and put all sanitizer and adapt yourself. This climate change and this sea level rise and all that, it is very, very invisible and it will going to hit only our grandchild. So it is our duty to protect at least the present environment, at least without much of further damage. What we are doing, every day we are doing, mankind is the worst creature in the world that gone create all kind of problem to the nature. Especially now the forestry, tropical forests are in danger. They are the real world, they are the lungs. They give the oxygen. Amazon basin, the best forests are under degradation now. Mexico, this Congo basin, second the largest Congo basin, covering the Republic of Congo and other side countries. That one is a Indo-Burma area. Our Indo-Burma area is rich in biodiversity. That also under threat. not to speak about our Western Ghats, is also one of the biodiversity hotspot. But gradually, there are a lot of migrations. The species migration is there. Species disappearance also going to come shortly, because some of these species of Terminalia we call ordinarily, these Terminalias are here. Terminalia species, all are not having any adequate regeneration capability in the forest floor. Like that, one side water, another side one. Another important matter, as Professor earlier said, carbon sequestration. Natural carbon sequestration is plant more trees. If you plant more trees, about per hectare annually, you will get some 35 to 40 tons of carbon dioxide absorbed by the plants and locked permanently and sequestered perfectly in the biological system. When they die, that decayed material will go to same atmosphere carbon, it will go to soil as a decayed form and permanently locked in the soil area, soil pan. So carbon sequestration and sink, enhancing our sink. Enhancing sink is the major goal we must reach, because you sink the atmospheric carbon dioxide through the plantation activity or afforestation activity. That we need a long way to go as far as forestry is concerned. This forest research and their validation and their calculation of the carbon credit and all that, it's not very, very adequate, but we have good procedure compared to other countries. About 134 countries are struggling to have a methodology and standardized, verifiable and demonstrable emission scenario for the forestry system. So that we have to do that soil organic carbon must be maintained at least 1%. Most of the forests now, they don't have 0.2, they don't not even having 0.1, 0.2. That's why the forest degradation is accelerated. If you set properly the afforestation program, and if you set the legal norms not to tap groundwater more than this much of norms, there are policy and frameworks are needed, because groundwater tapping is more in Tamil Nadu. Ultimately, when the catchment area reaches, the basin reaches towards the sea level increasing and their salinity is intruding, taking the advantage of the groundwater tapping. So groundwater tapping, groundwater managers must be very careful in future, and they must maintain a proper groundwater level so that the existing biodiversity on the surface, they grow. Otherwise, small herbs, shrubs and all that, it will vanish soon. So biodiversity conservation, agriculture productivity, again, agriculture productivity. There is now the worry of the agriculture, Indian agriculture is the production is standard despite their all efforts by means of technology and application of fertilizers. Something wrong. That means the carbon content in the soil is very, very less. Our elderly people, olden days, our elderly people put all greens before planting paddies. They put they mulch it, and after putting the green manures in the soil only, they plant paddy and other things. So before planting of paddy, the mulching, organic mulching, it enriches every year the carbon content more than 1% or 2%. Now nobody is using the organic manure. Beautifully, they are purchasing the nitrogen-based urea and other things, ammonium phosphate. They simply throw, because in order to get quick productivity, we cannot blame. Even then, our farmers are suffering without any much economy. So these are all the major problems going to face by our country. Not only our country, even in developing 134 countries are their problem. Compared to India, China, we are the highest emitters in this region. But I am telling you today, China is doing a beautiful technology to offset the emission reduction, and probably by 2030, they may reduce 50% of their energy, because that much of technological development is there. We need technology. We need proper management of emission reduction activities, especially energy sector. Energy efficiency and zero carbon energy are highly required and warranted. So people are working on it. Scientific world are very keen to have a technology to reduce the emission. So let us hope. I think this seminar will bring you little bit more outlook about the problem therein and how to address it. Again, I'm telling my Professor Gandhi and others, the learned groups are watching here. I'm telling you, India, we need water, We need water, we need water. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. To express our sincere gratitude, let me now invite Dr. Lindo Alapart, Head of the Department of Geology and Environmental Science, Christ College Autonomous, to propose the vote of thanks. Over to you, sir.
Dr. Linto Alapat, our former head of the department, Professor S.P. Mohan, is also participating in this inauguration, and I welcome him. I welcome him.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. A warm, graceful and warm morning to our most valued guest and one and all present here. It is my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks in this occasion. We have just witnessed the presence and listened to the words of wisdom from the highest officials of the collaborating institutions and from different walks of the society. We have also have a large number of participants at different levels of expertise representing institutions across the country, reflecting on various aspects of environmental degradation and climate change. As a nation, we are committed to working harder to solve environmental degradation and achieve globally targeted sustainable development goals. And creating awareness is the key to achieve what is envisaged in reducing the burden of climate change and prevent further environmental degradation. I will not stay longer between the most awaited sessions, but want to thank all the people who have come together to make this inaugural session a success. I, on behalf of the Department of Geology and Environmental Science and the organizers of this colloquium, first of all, extend my most sincere thanks to the chief guest today, Professor Devesh K. Sinha, is at present Director, Delhi School of Climate Change and Sustainability Institution of Eminence, and Professor of Oceanography and Marine Geology in the Department of Geology, Center of Advanced Study at Delhi University, who spared time from his busy schedule to grace the occasion and sharing his valuable views in the inaugural address. He will be also giving a talk later today in one of the sessions. Thank you, sir, for your very thought-provoking and interesting address. I would like to express our deep gratitude to the principal, Christ College Autonomous, Reverend Dr. Jolly Andrews, CMI, for his presence and delivering the presidential address in the inaugural session. I also thank Professor MP Jonathan, IPN Mexico, for providing his insight on the relevance of this conference and felicitating in the meeting. I extend a very hearty vote of thanks to Professor S. Ramachandran, Emeritus Professor at Center for Climate Change and Disaster Management, Anna University, Chennai, for providing felicitations in the meeting. I mention my deepest sense of appreciation and would like to place on record our hearty thanks, to Dr. S.M. Hussain, Professor and Head, Department of Geology, University of Madras, and Dr. M. Suresh Gandhi, Professor and Head in charge of Center for Environmental Studies, the University of Madras, who made this function possible. Both of them are the conveners of this international colloquium and played a key role in bringing many experts across the world together here in this platform. I thank them for their support and guidance for encouraging us at every point in the organization of this event. Thank you, sirs. I take this opportunity to extend our sincere thanks to all the guest invites, Professor S.P. Mohan, from former head of the department, the University of Madras, Professor Rajiv Nigam, Professor L. Ilanko, Professor Krishnamurthy, who are here now and have accepted to give their presentations in the upcoming sessions. Professor S. Gauri, Honorable Vice Chancellor, University of Madras, who had agreed to join us today for the inaugural address. Due to some unforeseen and urgent assignments, he was unable to join the meeting now. But in his absence, I want to thank him for his greetings and the interest to join the conference. Events like this cannot happen overnight. So as the wheel started rolling weeks ago, such an event requires intricate planning, and an eye for all the details. Here we are fortunate to have Mr. Tarun R., Assistant Professor in Geology at Christ College, as organizing secretary of the colloquium, who backed by a team of dedicated and motivated faculty from Christ College and University of Madras. Thanks to Tarun and to all the faculty for their cooperation in the conduct of this function. I take this opportunity to thank the entire technical team and the fraternity of management here for their support in organizing this program. Finally, I thank the wonderful and active participants who have turned up in such great numbers across the country and from abroad. Thank you so much for your interest and cooperation. After 3 days of talks, deliberations, and interactions, I'm sure that the International Colloquium being conducted in the virtual mode will be fruitful and knowledgeable experience for all the participants. Once again, I thank you for all your cordial cooperation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So that brings an end to our inaugural session. So we are moving on to our technical session. Before that, I request every participant to kindly mute yourself and cooperate with us. We can have an interactive session and questionnaire session towards the end of each session. So either you can type your questions in the chat box, or you can directly ask the questions by unmuting yourself. So we can start off the session by Dr. Rajiv Nigam from Institute of Oceanography, Goa. He'll be our first speaker. To introduce our first speaker, let me invite Dr. Lindo Alapat, Department of Geology and Environmental Science, to introduce. Over to you, sir.
Professor Hussain, shall I go ahead with your permission?
Dr. Nigam sir is ready, and if he's ready, we will proceed further.
Yeah, you can start it. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah, so I'm very glad to introduce Professor Rajiv Nigam. We did have a couple of interactions in the past, and I'm very happy to see him again giving a presentation in this international colloquium. Dr. Rajiv Nigam has his expertise in paleoclimate and paleoceanography, micropaleontology, and climate change and marine geochemistry. He was a CSIR emeritus scientist, former chief scientist, National Institute of Oceanography, Goa, India. He has completed his formal education in geology from Lucknow University and got his MPhil and PhD and DSc from the Aligarh Muslim University, and NORAD diploma in marine micropaleontology from Oslo University, Norway. He has joined National Institute of Oceanography, Goa in 1978 and superannuated in 2016 as a deputy director and head of geological oceanography and marine archaeology. Dr. Nigam has made significant contributions in the field of marine geology, using foraminifera as a tool to understand the oceanographic process and their role in environmental and paleo-environmental assessments. He has pioneered the study of foraminifera in the laboratory culture. He has also exhibited the applications of foraminifera in marine archaeology. Dr. Nigam is the recipient of several awards like CSIR Young Scientist Award, then National Mineral Awards, MR Saini Lecture Award, and so many awards. He has also taken keen interest in human resource development and successfully guided 15 students for PhD. He has published more than 150 research papers in national and international journals. With this introduction, may I invite Professor Rajiv Nigam to take over the session. Thank you, sir. Over to you.
Yeah, one more thing I would like to add. Dr. Nigam ji is a good friend of our department for more than 3 decades, and he's a well-wisher of our department, and we always seek his support, encouragement, and blessings. With this, I request Dr. Rajiv Nigam sir to deliver his talk.
Okay, very good morning. Let me share my screen first. Okay. Can you see the screen?
Yes, yes. Go ahead.
Okay. A very good morning to all of you. It's always pleasure to be associated with the Madras University. Whenever I come to Madras, I start my any lecture with the remembering that this is a place from where I started my presentation. So my first presentation I gave at AC College campus, Madras University. I'm also privileged to visited Christ College, Thrissur, a couple of years back. Both have beautiful campus and beautiful people. So with this, I would like to start today's lecture. Friends, the growing industrialization, the growing greed for more consumerism, growing population has increased the industrialization. And C being a very good for importing, exporting, transportation of the material, and an easy place for disposal of their waste. Coastal area, therefore, are always invited the lot of industries in the coastal area. But the problem is with this increase in industries, the problem is started in the coastal areas as well, the pollution. So some of the positive influence of the industries for generating the job in coastal area also have negatively compensated in form of loss of fisheries in the area. You can see so, and therefore there is a persistent need to see that what to do. You cannot close down. Hello.
May I interrupt? Sir, could you please put your slides full screen? Sorry to interrupt. Thank you.
Okay, sure. It's okay now?
Yes, sir. It's perfect now.
Okay.
Thank you.
So the coastal area became a very polluted area wherever the industries came up in the coastal areas. And there is a growing demand that something need to be done. A lot of pollution control board has been established in this area. But before we go ahead, let us see what are the issues related to the pollution, whether how to monitor, why to monitor, and whether it is possible to prevent. The first, let us see what is pollution. A lot has been talked about pollution this morning, but I'm not going very far for atmospheric pollution and its implication into the climate change. I'm just talking the next door pollution, which is into the coastal areas of the sea. As per the US President advisory, the environmental pollution is unfavorable alteration of our surroundings only or largely as a byproduct of the man's action. And the marine pollution is used where the normal marine environment is changed due to man's action. The very first question comes, how to find out whether there is a pollution or not. What are the tools available for detecting the marine pollution? The very convenient and very easy tool which comes to our mind is the chemical tools. Means you can go to the sea, collect the sample, water samples, and see its composition. If something is more, for example, arsenic or mercury or organic matter, you can say there is a pollution. But the problem is sometimes those who are discharging their effluent into the sea are not very honest. They can deceive the visiting scientist team. How? They can start storing their effluent within the campus for some time, and when you go for collecting the samples, you'll end up giving a report that there is no pollution. Or they invite you during the monsoon when effluent get diluted. Okay, so again, you will end up giving a report that there is no pollution, but which may not be true. In order to counter it, you can go for, say, fortnightly collection of the samples. But then project became financially not viable because oceanography is an expensive science. The other one is the biological tools, particularly fishes. But the biological tool come into picture when pollution has already reached to a level which is almost becoming irrelevant because fishes are at the higher level of the food chain. So what we need a type of tool uh, which can tell you whether pollution is there or not, even if factories stop its effluent for some time. So that therefore we developed a new tool long back, or you can say additional tool, which is based on the microorganisms. There are a lot of microorganisms, but the one which we use. See, I request all the audience plus mute your mic. Okay, I can see a lot of disturbance. So let us talk about the foraminifera. This is the one which is ubiquitous almost everywhere in the marine environment, particularly in the coastal environment, and turn out to be a very good tool for pollution monitoring. For non-marine or lacustrine area, I think ostracod can also serve as a very good tool for pollution detection. So let us see first. I would like to introduce, because all of you may not be from the paleontology, what is this tool called foraminifera? These are the protozoans less than a millimeter in size. The one which live in the water column are known as planktonic foraminifera, and the one which live at the bottom of the sea are called benthic foraminifera. They are less than a millimeter in size, are almost exclusively present in the marine environment only. They are highly susceptible to the climate change or environmental changes, and therefore has been used for a variety of applications. The lot of applications are there. One is the paleoceanography, the sediment transport direction, which is a engineering application. I will touch today the sediment transport also. Petroleum exploration is an age-old application of foraminifera. Monsoon variations can also be reconstructed based on the foraminifera. The fisheries, we have done work on the mudbank area fisheries from Kerala, and we found that foraminifera are very good to explain why fisheries is possible during the monsoon area when it is closed all along the coast, but it's done in Alapi area mostly. The paleo tsunami can also be detected. Sea level changes. I think some people will talk today on this. Marine archaeology, because of usefulness of foraminifera in climatic reconstruction, it have a parallel application in marine archaeology and also the pollution monitoring. So today in lecture, I will touch two things, the pollution monitoring as well as the sediment transport, because this is useful in management of the pollution. See, the history of pollution studies in India, particularly in the marine environment, it all started from Goa. You can see recently the environmental minister has recalled the India's first ever environmental agitation held in Goa against the chemical pollution caused by Zuari Agro Limited, and have its brought the coastal village of Sanakuni. What happened in 1974 when this Zuari Agro Industries were formed? The Rampunka, the local fishermen, the traditional fishermen, they protested against the Zuari industry after it was found to have been pumping the dangerous chemical arsenic into the soil, rivulets and creek, resulting in withering away of the agriculture crop in the field as well as mass fish mortality.